Highly anticipated and watched races in Arizona still playing out, with all eyes still on the results. Now we're happy to have the chair of Arizona's Republican Party, Dr. Kelly Ward, to find out what is going on there. Kelly Ward, thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here. It's a great day for Arizona, and I think a great day for America.
Kelly, there was a lot of concern in Arizona with voter machines malfunctioning in your state yesterday, specifically in Maricopa County. If you could, please tell us what was going on there and if there is cause for concern in terms of any funny business, tampering with ballots, etc.
Right. Well, I know that my phone started ringing at 6:05 a.m. Polls opened at 6 with complaints from all over Maricopa County of tabulators not working, printers not working, ballots not going through machines, not being able to be tabulated on site, poll workers giving, I think, bad advice. Some people were told to just leave their ballots lying, on top of a table. Some were told to take their ballots with them. Some were told to put them into box number 3 or door 3 so that those ballots could be tabulated later downtown. So it was very confusing, but we had people on the spot already working to resolve those issues. Now, those issues did go on through the morning, and by a little afternoon, maybe close to 1 o'clock, they discovered that their toner settings on their printers was very low to print at the lowest quality. And so those ballots were not having dark marks on the side to prove that it was a real ballot. And the tabulators were having trouble reading those ballots. As they adjusted those settings and they darkened up that toner, we had far fewer problems. So those people that voted after lunch or in the evening time didn't have as much of a problem feeding those ballots into the tabulators. But obviously, it's concerning to me, and it was concerning to all of us yesterday. Early in the day, we started talking about, should we try to extend voting hours? I wanted to do it as early as possible because we've had other cases that we've been involved with the RNC. When there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and the RNC has a lot of cooks, the process slows down. And the last 2 cases we've worked on with them, we've been told by the judge we were just too late, even though had we filed hours before, maybe we wouldn't have been considered too late. So we didn't get those hours extended, but I don't think that we're going to need it. Our people turned out. They stayed the course. They stayed in line. People were voting until after 9 p.m., maybe even after 10 p.m. last night, because they were determined not to leave. They were determined to have their voice heard.
Now, whether that vote is or starts to break for your candidate or candidates, is it a fair question to still ask why Florida can count the votes in a single day and why states like Arizona and others are not able to?
It certainly is. And I talked to a lot of the legislators who were at our event last night, celebrating with all of us the red wave that will be here in Arizona before you know it, when those ballots are counted. And they believe that they have a clear mandate to correct our elections, to make sure that our elections have integrity, to make sure that the process is clean. What's happening here is that many of these elections departments, because of the laws that are on the books, allowing ballots to be dropped off all the way up until the end of election day, early ballots that aren't required to have an ID placed before the person puts that into the ballot box or into the drop box, have to be cured. They have to be proven that those are legitimate ballots. So these election departments are given up to 5 business days to cure those ballots. And unfortunately, especially in Maricopa County, I think that because they have those 5 business days, which actually extends out to 7 or 8, and in this case, we have Veterans Day on Friday, so it could extend even further because of the holiday. Because they have that time, they decide that they are going to take that time. And nothing is more frustrating than watching what happened yesterday when Maricopa County simply had to plug in the little thumb drives that they have from all of the voting locations into their machines and put out results. But they were unwilling, unable, incompetent, I'm not sure what. but they weren't putting those out quickly. They did put out a few little dribs and drabs through the night, and they still have about 600,000 ballots in Maricopa County to count. And so we've got a lot of work before us. And let me correct that. I think it's about 400,000 in Maricopa and about 600,000 statewide. So it's not just Maricopa County, but we have that problem because of that 5-day allowance after Election Day. That needs to be corrected. I think that if people want to drop off their early ballot, they ask to be on the mail-in list or the mail-out list. They need to drop those off far before Election Day so that they can be cured prior to 7 p.m. here in our case in Arizona on Election Day, and those votes can already be counted in that first or second release of the ballots cast.
Now, with all of that said, how confident are you in Kari Lake and Blake Masters being able to pull it out?
Well, the ballots that are being counted right now are the same-day drop-offs, as well as Election Day ballots that they still have not tabulated. Those are breaking 60 to 70 to actually 75% for all of our Republican candidates across the board. Kari, Blake, Abe, Mark, they are going to be that red wave here in Arizona. Blake Masters and Mark Fincham have the biggest hurdle to come over, but I think that as all those ballots are coming in Maricopa County and from around the states, especially in those rural areas of the state that are strong red Republican strongholds, that is going to make the difference. I think maybe we might know tonight that Kari Lake is our governor-elect. I certainly hope so. I hope that Maricopa County and their elections department decides to actually put in the work that needs to be done rather than taking the law and saying, well, we have 5 business days, so we're just going to take it to drag it out, because I think Stephen Richer, the current recorder, and the Board of Supervisors in Maricopa County have done a lot of damage to election integrity and have really, really made it difficult for voters to have confidence in anything that they do.
Now, it seems like CNN and other mainstream media outlets have shifted away from this term, the big lie, to now calling anyone who questions the integrity of an election denier. How do you respond to this label?
Well, I saw election denier Stacey Abrams lose yesterday. I saw a lot of election deniers on the Democrat side lose yesterday. I've seen a 10-minute plus montage of Democrats challenging elections and denying results from 2016, before and after 2016. And so, I think that the media, the mainstream media and outlets like CNN love to make these monikers to mislead the public. It's disinformation from our news. I think it's an abuse of the First Amendment. The freedom of the press is designed to protect the people, the citizenry, from an overbearing, overreaching, over-regulating, lying federal government or state government. And in many cases today, as President Donald J. Trump pointed out, the news media has become a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party and those radical leftist policies that have left this country devastated. I think this election is going to show that we have somewhere to go, that with Republicans in charge in the House, and I'm going to tell you, in the Senate, we at least are going to be able to put the brakes on the radical Biden regime's efforts to turn our country into a socialist nation, to make it very difficult for families to survive and thrive, making it difficult for them to have enough money to have housing, to buy gas, to buy groceries. I don't know that we're going to be able to implement a lot of policies because Joe Biden can just use his veto pen. But I do think that a lot of our states are going to be moving forward and be models for what the American people are asking for. And what they're asking for is safety, security, law and order. They want to have a strong economy. They want their money to go further, not be used up before the end of each and every month. And they want to be healthy, happy, and prosperous. Who doesn't? And that's what Republican policies bring.
Dr. Kelly Ward, really appreciate your perspective, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.